What's up you guys? Kamusta? I hope life is treating you well. What you're seeing now is my hardtail. Last time it saw action, I was riding with wheel downs. Christchurch City action following wheel. That is the shiny rear brake hose of the bike, a Shimano BH90. And that is the front brake of the bike. There is nothing wrong with it, it's just that it's not color match, and today I would like to change that. But before I do that, I need to drop some facts. Generally, there are two main types of Shimano hose fittings: a flare nut and a banjo. Flare nut, banjo fitting. This silver banjo fitting is from a Shimano Z. This gold banjo fitting is from a Shimano Saint. This dark and skinny one is from a Shimano SLX. All of the fittings on my left hand side have the BH90 hose, and the dark and skinny one is not. I don't know if I can maximize the functionality of an ice-tech hose, but who knows? If you know, let us know in the comments. Alright, to some prep work. To make this workflow easier, I've already removed the front tires, routed the replacement hose that I wanted to use, and I've removed the front brakes. And these are the tools and materials that we will need for this project to succeed. Vice blocks. These things are free every time you buy a set of brakes from Shimano. And sometimes when you buy built bikes, it's already included there as part of the package. Moreover, if you have a good working relationship with your local bike store, they might even give this one for you for free, if they happen to have some lying around. Next up is adjustable wrench, hammer, some matching olive and barb depending on your hose, hose cutting tools, shop cloth or a rag, spanners 7 and 8, and some Allen keys. And then of course, the last but not the least, the Shimano BH90 SBLS. Alright, let's start. Step 1. Cover your working area with a rag. And using the appropriate tool, remove your pads from the caliper. I don't have plans on reusing that brake pads because it's almost gone. It's just that it's good practice to remove your brake pads every time you work on your brakes, especially with risk of contamination. Back on the caliper assembly. Using your Allen key, loosen up that bolt that holds the banjo counterclockwise and unscrew it all the way out very slowly to free the hose. Now that the banjo fitting is out, time to look out for the O-rings. Apologies for the angle of the shot, but those O-rings are just really small and they just look like this. Moving on, time to remove the flare nut using the size 8 spanner. You do it by rotating it counterclockwise, or if the brakes are like that on the bike, just push it down. There you go. Once the lever side and the caliper side of the hoses are out, expect some hydraulic fluid to drip. Hence we have the rag on the table because we don't want it dripping everywhere. Put that lever on the side for now. Since my hose replacement set is not brand new, I need to salvage some parts. I need that rubber boot and the flare nut, and for that I need to trim this hose. I could either use a side cutter, box cutter, cable cutter, or a proper hose tool. If you don't have a proper hose tool, just cut it at 90 degrees. And now that the olive is out, I can successfully salvage the parts that I need to keep this conversion going. Now I can keep this hose ready for, I don't know, maybe in the future for a little shredder on the way? I don't know. Now back on the lever blades, I'll just loosen up the bolt here, push some pins on this side to open the clamp and put it back on the bike. Now, time to do the caliper end of this brake. But before we do that, we have to make sure that the salvage O-rings together with the matching banjo bolt is clean. Yes, I just need to stress that out, that the 4-piston banjo bolt and the 2-piston banjo bolt are extremely different, but they use the same O-ring. Alright, moving on. Grab the banjo bolt using your thumb and index finger, put the O-ring on top, banjo bolt second, use your index finger to put pressure, rotate it as I did, and put the second O-ring. Keep the firm pressure on, grab the body of the caliper and hand tight it until resistance is felt. Then using the Allen key, tighten it to suit. Beauty, and now that it's done, time to put it on its temporary home. And as the saying goes, you measure twice and you cut once. Now, before I start doing the lever side of this brake system, time to make sure that I have enough hose length before I cut it. And after a lot of trial and error measuring, then yep, time to finally cut it, and bam, look at that. Not too long, not too short. After that, grab the end of the hose and insert the following in order. 1. The rubber boot. Next is the flare nut. And push it as far as you can for now. Grab the end of the hose, sandwich it in using the vice blocks using your thumb and your index finger. Grab your adjustable wrench, squeeze it in and push it with your hand. Add some more tightness if you can. Nice! The idea of the vice blocks are just to hold the hose in place without crushing it. Next is to grab the hose specific needle. Yes, every hose has its own different needle sizes. And once it is in, push it with a hammer. Gently. Nice. Next is grab the olive, slide it in, and line up the hose. After all that, push the hose in as far as it can go. Then once resistance is felt, slide the olive in place. Push it with the flare nut until resistance is met. Make sure that everything lines up. Keep pushing the hose while tightening the flare nut at the same time. And once you cannot hand tighten it anymore, use the tool. And this is how it should look like. Time to put it back in. And now we're ready to bleed. And that ends today's upload. Don't forget, if you like what you saw, hit like, comment, and subscribe. Peace!